Hi, I'm Ava, and I want to tell you about an unforgettable trip I took with my dad, Thomas. I was 21, and after everything we'd been through, especially losing my mom, we both felt it was time to reconnect. Our relationship had shifted since her passing, and we both needed healing. So we chose a week at a scenic beach resort to rebuild our bond. The moment we arrived, the weather couldn't have been more perfect. The sun gleamed, and as we stepped onto the soft sand, I felt an overwhelming sense of release. The ocean breeze swept away all my stress. The beach stretched endlessly before us with waves catching the sunlight and sparkling. I felt a rush of excitement, like I was in the middle of something unforgettable. Without thinking, I dashed into the water, my feet sinking into the cool sand. I felt free, as if all my worries had been swallowed by the waves. "Come on, slowpoke," I called out, laughing as I splashed into the surf. My dad followed, his laughter joining mine as he playfully splashed water at me. In that moment, it was like we had found a piece of our old selves, the way things used to be. I glanced back at him, noticing how handsome he still was, even as he grew older. His smile and strong frame made him seem youthful. I shook my head, reminding myself he was my dad. That evening, we joined a beach bonfire with other guests. The fire crackled, sending sparks up into the night. Surrounded by laughter and stories, I felt a sense of belonging, like we were part of something larger than ourselves. The warm night air carried the salty scent of the ocean mixed with the smoke of burning wood. I noticed some guys glancing our way, a wave of pride and embarrassment rushing through me. "Dad, don't embarrass me," I said, nudging him playfully, feeling my cheeks burn but secretly enjoying the attention. To my surprise, he wrapped his arm around my shoulders. "I'm not trying to embarrass you, kiddo," he replied with a warm smile, "just enjoying the night with my daughter." In that moment, a rush of warmth passed between us, something more than just the fire's heat. I couldn't tell if it was just the warmth or something else. The next morning, we rented bikes and rode along the beach. The day was perfect, clear. Skies, a gentle breeze, and the soothing sound of waves crashing in the distance. I loved being outside with my dad. It felt like we were connected in a way I couldn't explain. But as we pedaled side by side, I started to notice his gaze linger on me just a little too long. At first, I thought it was nothing more than fatherly attention. But as the minutes passed, I began to wonder if there was something more to it. Then, I took a small spill off my bike. It wasn't serious, just a minor fall. But as I got up, I saw my dad rushing toward me, worry written all over his face. "Are you okay?" he asked, his voice thick with concern. He helped me up, his touch steady yet gentle, and when our eyes met, something electric passed between us. It was just a fall, I told myself, but the connection felt more intense than it should have been. The night we settled into the cabin, a storm rolled in, the wind howling and rain pouring outside. Inside, wrapped in towels, we were safe, the warmth of the cabin contrasting the chaos beyond. We laughed, shared cocoa, and for the first time in a long while, I felt truly at ease. There was something comforting in the silence we shared. Yet, as I smiled at him, a strange feeling tugged at me. Why did I feel this way about my dad? Was it just the closeness, the time together? It didn't make sense, but I couldn't shake it. The morning brought clear skies and calm. We walked the beach, the soft sand beneath our feet, the waves soothing, and the seagulls' calls peaceful. "Dad, can I tell you something?" I asked, nervous but resolved. "I feel like we're closer than ever. You're not just my dad. You're my best friend." His face softened, his eyes warm. "I feel the same," he replied. But there was something in his tone that made my heart skip. It felt heavier. Later in the market, a seashell necklace caught my eye. Without thinking, I rushed to try it on. "What do you think?" I asked, turning to him. When I met his gaze in the mirror, I saw more than admiration. There was something else, a look that unsettled me, stirring confusion and excitement. My cheeks flushed. Was I overthinking this? As the week went on, The tension between us grew. One evening, we watched the sunset from the balcony. The sky was painted in colors I couldn't describe. "It's beautiful, isn't it?" I said, turning to him. But he wasn't looking at the view. He was looking at me, his gaze deep. "It really is, Ava," he murmured. I hesitated, unsure if I could put my feelings into words. Before I could speak, he interrupted. "You know I love you, right? You're the best thing in my life." His words hit me hard, a truth that felt different, more intense. On our last day, I found a letter he'd written but never given me. I wasn't meant to read it, but the words struck me. He wrote of how proud he was, how much he loved me, how much he cherished our time. Yet, there was an underlying tension, something unspoken that made my stomach twist. Hearing him enter, I quickly set the letter down. His face drained when he saw me holding it. "Ava, did you find something?" His voice trembled. "I did, Dad," I replied, my heart pounding. "And I think we need to talk." We sat down and I finally let it out. "I feel something between us, something different. I can't pretend it's not there." He looked surprised, his eyes wide. "I care about you more than you know, Ava. But we need to be careful. Our bond is unique. I don't want to ruin it." We agreed to respect our relationship while focusing on the father-daughter connection. It was a hard conversation, but it brought us closer. On the drive home, emotions swirled inside me. That vacation had changed everything, but we still had each other. I smiled at my dad, grateful, knowing that love is complicated, but it's the bond we share that matters most. As we arrived home, I couldn't shake the sense of excitement and unease that had followed me all week. It wasn't just the time together. It was the moments, the stolen glances, the unspoken words that left me wondering, had our relationship changed or was I overthinking it? My connection with him felt different, more intense. It was something I couldn't ignore. As I unpacked, I glanced at him, sitting at the kitchen table, lost in thought. His gaze lingered on me in a way I couldn't quite understand. My heart raced again, half in confusion, half in something else. I glanced at him, and this time our eyes met. My breath caught in my throat. There was an intensity in his gaze, an unspoken tension that stopped me in my tracks. Could he feel it too? Did he know what was happening between us? Before I could say anything, he stood up, breaking the moment. "I'm going to make some coffee," he said, his voice softer than usual, as though trying to lighten the atmosphere. I nodded, my emotions swirling inside me, unsure how to express what I felt. That evening, dinner was quieter than usual. Food was good, but I couldn't focus on it. The weight in the air, the subtle tension, was impossible to ignore. We both avoided the elephant in the room, but I could tell we were both thinking about it. The unsaid words, the closeness that had changed everything between us. After dinner, we went for a walk, just around the neighborhood. It was a simple walk, but it felt significant. The cool air and empty streets made it feel like we were walking a tightrope, each step bringing us closer to something neither of us could navigate. We talked easily about work, memories, the usual things, but the more I thought about it, the more I realized how much had changed. I wasn't just his daughter anymore, and he wasn't just my dad. There was something else, something more, and neither of us knew how to handle it. We passed a park with a swing set and a childhood memory hit me. "Do you remember when we used to come to parks like this?" I asked, nostalgia sweeping over me. "Of course," he said, his eyes lighting up with the memory. "You were always fearless, climbing higher than anyone." "I guess I still am," I teased, a smile tugging at my lips. Without thinking, I walked over to the swings. He laughed. "I don't think I can fit on those swings anymore." To my surprise, he stepped closer, hands on the chains, preparing to sit down. "Come on, let's swing together," I said, excitement in my voice. We both squeezed into the swing, the creaking sound of the chains as we pushed off the ground. We swung higher, laughing like we hadn't in years. For a moment, it felt perfect. "This is ridiculous," he laughed between breaths, "but kind of fun." The laughter faded as we slowed, swaying gently. I turned to him, feeling that familiar closeness. It was like no time had passed. "Do you remember when we used to do this all the time?" I asked softly. "I do," he replied, warmth in his voice. "You were always pushing me to go higher." "I guess I still am," I teased again. But then something shifted. Our eyes locked, and I could see it, the spark that had always been there, now stronger, more intense. Without thinking, I reached out and touched his hand. The moment our fingers brushed, electricity surged through me. My heart raced and I couldn't breathe. "Dad," I whispered, my mind spinning but my body acting on its own, drawn to him in a way I couldn't explain. He looked at me, his breath a little heavier. "Ava," he started, but before he could finish, a group of kids ran by, laughing and playing, breaking the moment. We quickly pulled away, both stunned by what had just happened. We walked back in silence, the weight of the moment hanging between us. There was so much left unsaid, so much that needed to be addressed. It was confusing, exhilarating, and terrifying all at once. And as the days passed, we continued to navigate this new, uncharted reality. There were moments, small touches, that lingered too long, leaving us both wondering what came next. Every glance between us said more than words could convey. My heart quickened, and I found myself craving those moments more as time passed. Yet, with each passing day, uncertainty grew. Could we keep this up without crossing a line? Or would our connection shift into something neither of us was ready to handle? One weekend we decided to visit a nearby town for a festival. The air buzzed with energy. Laughter, music, the scent of street food filling the space. As we navigated through the crowd, I felt a brief sense of freedom, as if the weight of everything else melted away, and for once, I could just enjoy being with him. "Let's try that," I said, pointing to a cotton candy stand. We indulged, laughing like children sharing the sticky sweetness. Then I looked at him. His gaze held a depth I couldn't ignore, something powerful, magnetic. "I've never felt this way about anyone," I admitted, the words coming out, guarded, raw. "I feel the same," he responded, his voice steady, sincere. His eyes softened, but there was a flicker of conflict there. A couple passed by, hand in hand, smiling. A pang of jealousy hit me. Would others see us differently if they noticed how we interacted? "Do you think people notice us?" I asked, feeling vulnerable. He paused, his face thoughtful. "Maybe," he said quietly, "but what matters is what we share. Just remember, we have to be careful in public." As the sun set, casting a golden hue over the festival, I felt the need to capture the moment. "Let's take a selfie," I suggested. We stood close, our eyes meeting in the shot. In that photo, I saw the connection we'd built, a bond that words couldn't fully capture. The drive home was filled with silence, both of us lost in our thoughts. It felt like we were walking a thin line, balancing on the edge of something beautiful yet dangerous. That night, I lay awake, staring at the ceiling, my mind racing. Could we continue without losing ourselves? Or would we cross a point of no return? I didn't have the answers, but I knew one thing. I was ready for whatever came next, wherever this path led.